I'm Elroy Aune. Was drafted into the Army. Fort Lewis, Washington was where I went for basic training. There was some ups and downs through the period of my service. Basic training was kind of an introduction to an adventure I was on, I guess. It was interesting. I feel I did well. I was lucky. I was the only one who maxed a mile in my platoon in PT.
How fast did you have to do the mile? Was it like 6 minutes or something?
6 minutes and 2 seconds.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
So I had ran track in high school a lot, and so I knew how to run the miles, so I could make it.
Yeah, there you go.
And
say, Elroy, when you were there, did you know anybody?
I went in with a guy from town here, happened to be going in the same time as I was.
Who was that?
I went to school with. Richard Corpy.
Okay.
So we went through basic training together, and then in our basic training platoon, there was 6 or 7 of us that were stayed at the post there for advanced infantry training, which we completed that, and then everyone had orders for Vietnam.
But what was basic training like for you? Was it fairly easy, or?
I didn't really have any problems. I was in pretty good shape. I had been throwing bales and picking rocks and shoveling manure, and so fencing, and I'd been working pretty hard, I guess, over the years on the farm at home. So I didn't really have any trouble in there. It was trying at times, but
explain some of the things you did. I know you did a lot of marching, but can you go over?
It was a lot of marching, a lot of running. Before meals, you had the horizontal bars to go through, and we were up at 4:30 in the mornings and running and doing calisthenics, and then it was on to breakfast, and then during the day the different training things, the weapons training and physical training, and we had classes we went to, and
maybe you said earlier, but what year did you go in?
1970.
1970? Pardon?
In June of 1970.
Okay.
So, and then infantry training was just, AIT was just a little step up from basic. We had, it was a little more intense with the war going on and stuff. We were, it was all geared toward that. And I don't know how to explain. It was a little different. We got all we wanted to eat in AIT, in advanced infantry training. And basic there, they kind of metered the food to us. We were all skinny when we got out of basic. And infantry training, we could eat all we wanted to. So that was a good thing. Thing I didn't like about the advanced infantry training, or the first couple weekends, my last name starts with A, so I got picked for KP for the first weekend, and that was the first weekend we could go downtown, but I had to stay at the post and do KP. Well, the next weekend they had goofed up on the list, so they had to start over again. So I had KP again, and so I had 2 weekends in a row. It was maybe a good thing. You can have too much fun downtown too, I suppose. But then at the end of infantry training, the last week, our captain was out when we were in the chow line, and he read off a few names, and my name was one of them. And he said, "I want to see you guys in my office." Well, I didn't know any of these other guys that had been picked, and I didn't know what we were picked for. And anyway, we went in there, and everyone else was going to Vietnam, the way it sounded. And he said, you guys, when we got in the office, he said, you guys aren't going to Vietnam. Well, it was kind of a letdown for me. I wanted to go with my friends, go where they were going. But he said, you guys are going to Fort Benning for more training. Well, I didn't know what to think of that, and tried to switch orders with another guy that didn't get picked for that little meeting. And well, that didn't happen, I guess. So anyway, I ended up down in Fort Benning in non-commissioned officer school, and that got to be a lot more intense than the other two. Basically,
were you in the 82nd Airborne then?
No, I had planned on going into Ranger school, but we were in this non-commissioned officer school, and we mostly had Ranger instructors, good instructors. It was really a good school. I learned a lot there, and I got a lot more serious about the military there, and it was pretty intense training there. And
is that what they call shake and bake?
You know, I heard that term, but I don't know if that was for the non-commissioned officers or if that was for the commissioned officers, the second lieutenants. If
right.
That was
okay.
I'm not sure anymore. It's been a long time ago.
I know my brother went through the same school, and they called it shake and bake, and when he came out, he was a buck sergeant.
Oh, yeah, I was buck sergeant when I got out. There was, it was maybe, I don't know how many graduated that started that came out buck sergeant, but I was fortunate there, and you know, it was just kind of a downer. I had kind of planned on going airborne and going through Ranger training, but then I had some back and knee problems, and I couldn't go to jump school. So, and they told us we'd be going overseas to the war after that school. Well, that didn't happen either. I went home on leave, and then I got told got more orders, and I was told to stay at home until I got my orders. Well, anyway, they got changed. I was sent to Alaska instead, and that was in 71, of course, and evidently, from what I understand, they were cutting back a little at the Vietnam thing at the time, because all the guys I knew in Fort Benning either went to Panama or Alaska. I run into some guys when I got up to Alaska, they had MP uniforms on. And they'd got there about a week before I did. And they were short of MPs, so they got into MP school. They were qualified for MPs. And I was put in a company. Well, they changed my MOS too when I got to Fort Benning. They changed it from 11B to 11F. And 11B is infantry, of course, and 11F was operations and intelligence. So it was a different thing than a infantry line company. It was, I don't know, they didn't really have a job for us in Alaska. I was in this company, and we were in training a lot.
Where were you in Alaska, Elroy?
At Fort Richardson.
And where was that located at? I'm not sure.
By Anchorage.
By Anchorage, okay.
Right by Anchorage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're an E5 now?
I was an E5, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And so that was, well, they called us kind of a mountain rescue unit, which we didn't have much to do there. But when our president and Japan's emperor met there, it was that was kind of a highlight of my experience in the military. As it ended up, I ended up being on the color guard for our President Nixon and Japan's emperor when they came to Alaska to Elmendorf Air Force Base. There was 4 of us from the Army that got picked to be on that, and 3 from the Air Force, if I remember right. So we practiced for a long time there to get to get everything down to timing, and they flew an a plane, the 737, same as Air Force One, from Seattle every day for about a week at a time to get all this timing down. To be, and yeah, it was quite an experience, that was. And I know when I got home, I got out of the service not too long after that, and when I got home, a lady in the local restaurant in Gatsky, is where I was from, she said, she said, I could swear I saw you on TV the other night, or back when this meeting was going on, and I said, well, you probably did. She said, you look just like that one guy in the formation. So I thought that was kind of funny, but
sure.
It was a good experience.
So how long were you in Alaska?
From June through December. See, they offered us early outs, and I had been in college before I went in the service, and I thought, I didn't get my, I didn't really end up in the military where I wanted to be once I got into Fort Benning, and I thought I wanted to get overseas. So I took the early out when they offered it, and I went back 3 days after I left the Army. I was sitting in a college classroom. It's quite a change again, but that was the extent of it, I guess.
So you were in Alaska for how long?
June through December. That would have been 6 months,
6
maybe
months?
6, 7 months, something like that.
How much of an early out? Did you get like a 6-month early out then, or?
Yeah, right, right.
Okay, all right.
So, and I don't know. I've always kicked it around ever since. If I should have stayed in, I think I was up for E6. I saw when I left the military. I don't know. Maybe I should have stayed in. I'll never know.
You'll never know. Yeah, that's right. That's right. No sense second guessing yourself, right?
No.
So what'd you do when you got out? You went to college, and what was your?
I finished up with college, and I farmed the rest of my working years there.
Where'd you go to college at?
Yeah, Bemidji State.
Bemidji. Okay, all right. And
Yeah.
you graduated from Bemidji State then, or?
Right. Yeah, I got a BS degree, I suppose, in illustration and graphic arts.
Okay. And so then you graduated. You went back to the farm.
Yep, I farmed then forever. And I did work out a couple winters at Blair's Industries in their drafting lab.
In Roseau.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So
So is there anything about your career in the military that you'd like to change or do different?
No, I just wish that when I went in and had that checkup, I wish I could have made it into drum school. I would have been in the 82nd or the 101st or something then, I suppose, about it. Well, I was going to go to Ranger School too, so I don't know if I could have made it through that training. Well, then it would have been different, everything. But
if you'd went to Ranger School, you'd have more than likely went to Vietnam. Yep.
Well, then it probably would have, that, yeah. I was supposed to go anyway, the way they said. But
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Elroy?
well, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I maybe let down some people when I didn't go there. That's the only thing. You think about it once in a while, So
I'm gonna say you got pretty lucky that you did where you went, what you did, and you contributed. That's the main thing.
yeah, I guess in a way I feel good about it. It's just I don't know. You always wonder what could have been different. I guess the way it's all ended up, it's good, but so.
Okay. Well, Elroy, I want to thank you for this interview, and I want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.